Well, look what I got here today. Welcome, classic snowmobile fans. Now, classic, what do I mean by that? Classic is an era of snowmobile collecting that starts about 1986. It depends who you're talking to, and ends about the millennial year of 2000. It represents more modern machines than vintage or antique, certainly. And I wanted to showcase a classic machine today. I'm wearing my Polaris jacket because we're looking at a Polaris. In fact, this is a 1993 Polaris STORM. 1993. Now, this was an important era in the snowmobile history books because it starts the Muscle Sled era. Muscle Sled era spanned 92. By the end of the decade, they were petering out. By then, Polaris, had gone to different motors, Liberty motor to use one example, in a case in point. The Muscle Sled era, I officially think, started in 92. Yamaha came up with a machine called a VMAX 4. 4 cylinders, 4 pipes. And let me tell you, that thing was a screamer. And Polaris, Arctic-Cat, and Skidoo says, whoop, let's get going. Let's get going. And we got to produce a multi-cylinder, multi-pipe machine. Now, the other 3, including this Polaris STORM, ended up with 3 cylinders and 3 pipes. So these machines were not made for family outings, quite frankly. This kind of class, this muscle class era, was for the go-fast guys. These, a lot of people just call them lake racers. You start at one end of the lake, you pin it, and you try to get to the end of the lake before your buddies did. So this was built for absolute, speed. And I wanted to share that with you here today. Let's open the hood, and I'll show you a little bit about this motor that I'm bragging about. Isn't this beautiful? Now, 1, 2, 3 cylinders. This is a 744cc case reed motor, their first case reed for Polaris. And not only that, but the engineers were told that within this infrastructure here, fitting it under the hood here, we want you to also put in 3 pipes. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's beautiful. Notice how the pipes first sweep to the left, then they have to swing around, and then ultimately dump into the stock muffler. Now, I emphasize the word stock because when you're looking for a classic class machine, especially in the lake racer genre, it's often difficult to find the original exhaust and can and muffler, because the magazines of the day had a lot of aftermarket companies who were touting their products. Their products was a pipe that had, more horsepower. They were generating more horsepower. And a little tiny muffler, kind of a noisy one back then in that era. And so that you would get more horsepower, torque, and lower weight. So a lot of the machines that you're going to find for sale in this classic class era muscle sled, be careful. See if it's got the original exhaust or an aftermarket attempt. So I think I've got a beautiful example here. The person that owned this machine was meticulous. He was fastidious when it came to caring for this thing. When I saw pictures of this from a guy from Ontario who sent it to me, I says, I'll buy that. I'm just proud of that decision because this thing is about as clean as they get. And so let's close the hood here. Another point. This thing isn't exactly brand new. Look at this, 2,250 miles on the odometer. So this thing has been, certainly ridden quite a bit, but still, it looks brand new. If you take a look at the condition of this thing. Now, excuse me. When it comes to collecting these snowmobiles in the classic era, there's a category called Survivor. A Survivor machine has had no alterations. I cannot say that this is a Survivor. I could see two things that were different than what was factory equipped. Number one, the blue ski skins. These, you know, when ski skins became very popular, less drag, easier take off. The skis don't stick to the ground. So the blue ski skins are one case in point where it's different. The other is a lot of picks in the track. There's a lot of studs in the track. Now, why would a muscle sled need studs? For some get up and go. And here you can see it back here. You know, when I say a pick, I mean a stud like this that extended beyond the nub of a thing. So if you were on a hard surface, you got some get up and go. And not only that, I like studs because you slow down. You know, when you brake, of course, at a corner or some kind of panic situation, it slows down. So sleds of the era, especially performance sleds, were all studded up. So, like I said, I just wanted to introduce you to this little beauty and speak to the genre of lake racers and show you this lovely example. Now, notice the color. A lot of people today say, "You're kidding. You know, pink on a snowmobile? What are they thinking of? Look, the piping is pink. The seed, you know, logo is pink. Everything's pink here." And the truth is that, you know, it's fashion. I guess pink was in the early 1990s. So this thing came along with some period tones, and certainly color is one of them. All right. I hope you've learned a little bit here in terms of the Polaris Storm. Thanks for watching.